All rise for Honorable Judge Brandon Stark.
You may be seated. All right, our session's going to be back. I'm going to go ahead and address everybody in the room right now. There were some confusions, I believe, as to what kind of a case this was before we got started. So we are going to be allowing both sides to bring up an additional person for them, because they need representatives from both departments. So for the defendants, a representative from CHP and from Sheriff are going to be brought up to represent their departments. And for the plaintiffs, we are allowing them to have the gunsmith testify, I guess, as to the status of the weapon. I believe the Sheriff's Department has allowed access to the weapon for the purposes of this case. So we're going to let that happen, and that is it. We're going to start up the case again, and I believe Attorney Cody, but that should answer everybody's objections for now. You guys have more resources to work with, and you've had time to talk to your representatives and to your gunsmith, so you should be able to continue. Is there any objections?
Yes.
Go ahead.
We believe the weapon might have been tampered with. Never once did we state that the reason for the fully automatic fire was the trigger being stuck. We stated that the trigger got stuck, and maybe that may have led to the fully automatic fire. We don't know what caused the fully automatic fire. We're not saying that the trigger being stuck is really what caused it. I would also like to add on top of that, you brought up Tennessee versus Gardner. Yes, Your Honor?
Tennessee versus Gardner. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, now the Tennessee versus Gardner was on the training document, not the SOP. My defendant over here is given the SOP, not the training document. The training document is given to the training officer, not to the trainee. My defendant here was never told once about Tennessee versus Gardner in his training. So that is up to the training officer, and that is something that has to be figured out within the Sheriff's Department, because the Tennessee versus Gardner is clearly stated in the training document, not on the SOP, and you can read over it many times. I guarantee you that you will not find it on the SOP.
The question isn't whether or not the words Tennessee or Gardner were written on the page. The question is whether or not the person was taught that they need to determine use of force on their own and not with the help of the supervisor.
Well, that's basically Tennessee versus Gardner.
I'll allow you to question the witness after Attorney Cody finishes. Okay?
I also have one more statement to my objection, Your Honor.
Okay.
How long ago did this incident happen?
You should have the answer to that question.
It was about 2 weeks ago, correct? About a week and a half ago, I would say.
Oh God, I think what's his name's in the server.
Now, may I add to this?
Alex
he
V.
said I still feel kind of iffy as to the
which one's that?
The medical
Vendetta?
bills and the medical papers.
Yeah.
Okay.
He first came in at $250,000, then later stated $210,000, and this happened a week and a half ago. And he said he got shot in the femur, which is located where, Your Honor?
Hey, Your Honor, I have an objection.
I'm not the person that you need to convince. The jury is the people you need to convince. You can make that argument.
Yes.
No. You can make that argument in your closing statement if you want to, or you can make a point of it when you're talking to the testifying witness.
Okay, I will hold that statement for when I'm talking to the testifying witness.
Okay. Yeah. Attorney Cody, go ahead.
Okay. I believe this actually happened 6 months ago.
Is that true?
He said
I'm gonna continue my questioning now.
You guys,
it was 11 days.
Newman, can you open Zax's book?
How long are we gonna say that is?
Yeah.
Good question.
That's up to you guys. You're the exec staff. Just make a decision.
I don't fucking know.
Okay, can I question him now, Your Honor?
The question as to how long ago this happened, we're just gonna say it's 11 days ago, because there's no other way of right now going over that. So, but yes, you can go ahead and question your witness some more. Go ahead.
Okay. So in the body cam, there was no shots fired towards the officer. Is that correct? Correct, Officer Brian?
From what I remember, yeah, there were no shots fired back.
Okay, and then I also have another question. So I believe he said when it malfunctioned, the trigger was held down. With a semi-automatic weapon, if you held down the trigger, it would only fire that one time.
Yep.
Mhm.
Does he ask you any more questions or?
I think you just killed him.
I for sure body him. He's dead. He's.
Wait,
Oh,
my honor, I'm gonna ask the jury a rhetorical question now. Okay.
What you all should have done is for a statement, let a permit have someone to stand for them, and for a criminal case, go after it off. Yep.
Okay.
Is that this is
I think you killed him.
Okay, it's no shots were fired towards the officer.
he's dead. No, yeah, he's fucked.
Do you believe the force used is justified? Answer that to yourselves.
There gonna be anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm gonna let the defendants ask another question if they would like to the current witness on the stand.
Shit.
I'd like to talk to the jury. Now, here my rhetorical question is: this happened, he claimed 6 months ago, correct? He was initially stated 250,000, then 5 minutes later it was 210,000. Still don't know how. We'll get back to that at a later time. Now, he said he was shot on the shoulder, which he had to get his rotator cuff replaced, and he was shot in the femur. He said this happened 6 months ago. Last time I checked, the femur takes up to 12 months to fully heal. That man over there is walking perfectly fine, like nothing ever happened to him. Isn't that strange? He was shot in the femur. Now the femur is located in the hip area, I believe. Or I think it's commonly referred to like the thigh bone, so somewhere on that area. It takes up to 12 months for that to fully heal. 6 months later, he's walking perfectly fine. Okay. I don't
Do you
know
have any questions for the
if he's
witness?
taking steroids up the butt or anything. But
sure, you need to watch his mouth.
that's really odd to me. And still, the minus $40,000 in 5 minutes is still strange to me.
Okay, most of that is stuff that you should bring up in your closing statement. So do you have any questions for the witness that is currently on the stand?
No question.
Oh,
No
I do,
questions.
Your Honor.
Okay. Hold on.
They need to
Mr.
watch
Chief
their
Deputy.
mouths.
Yep.
Jeez.
I broke my
Okay,
right
go
femur
ahead.
and it took 73 months.
Alright, so let me walk up to the stand real quick. Excuse me, Mr. Z. Alright, Mr. Mena. Alright.
Jesus.
Alright, so do you remember when he came to the station when you and me were at the station? He came with his IV and with his nurse, and he was wearing the hospital robe.
Yeah.
Wait, can you say it again for me?
Yes.
All right, so remember when we were searching his ID to see who he was because we didn't know who he was?
I'm dead.
Yes. Nothing came up.
Yeah, and nothing came up. So please tell me, who is this man? Because I don't know who this man is.
Mr. Bailiff, I believe I asked you to look up the man's ID that we had sent
I
to us.
indeed did.
Okay, can you go ahead and explain to us what you came up with?
But
Hey, friend, let me go get off the computer one more time.
But Your Honor, if I may ask, if he does have his ID, then why wouldn't he come up in the system? To the jury, you should ask yourselves that. That's pretty strange. Why wouldn't the man come up in any hospital records, anything? I should ask you the same thing, Your Honor. It's really strange that he's not coming up in the system.
You're asking me.
I
I mean, I have answers
object.
for you, but I can't
I
can't provide them. Go ahead.
Come over here, Popson.
All right.
One moment, Mr. Bailiff. What was that, Attorney Quiddy?
I object. My client never got asked his name when he came into that sheriff's office that day.
Another objection by me.
Go ahead.
He doesn't need to be asked his name in order to be found in the system. I mean, yes, of course he needs to be asked his name, but didn't you say that you guys found the ID?
Right. My bailiff here is about to tell you what comes up in the system when we search for his ID.
Now, they say he never asked for his name. They found his ID. Okay. When they searched his that name that was found on the ID, nothing came back in the system.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and pose the question to you.
Brian J. Hunt, right?
Hey, my honor. Can I say something?
Objection.
1 second, Mr. Cody. One second,
all
Mr.
right.
Roddy. So, is there a possibility that the name was entered incorrectly into the system by you,
Yeah,
by the defendant?
Yeah.
Negative.
The name is Brian J. Hunt, right?
How do you know?
All right, Mr. Bailiff, can you go ahead and review
All
the results?
right. After further investigation and looking up the name Brian J. Hunt, I have conclusion that his birthday is on 4/25 of 1999. He's 20 years old. He's male. People know him as Alex. His place of residence is Joshua. I'm not going to disclose that. His occupation is small business owner. He's about 6'4" in height. He's married. And
Objection.
That is Brian A. Hunt. Brian A. Hunt.
This is Brian Jake Hunt, Your Honor, not A. Hunt.
How would they know?
This is
Brian
Brian J.
That is
Brian
Brian
J.
J.
How would they know? How would they know?
The name on his ID says Brian J. Hunt. I have the ID right here in front of me.
But
that's in our CAD system.
But why in the system?
All right. Objection.
That can be two.
Order in the court.
There you go.
But then that's just bullshit, Your Honor.
Brian J. Hunt has 3 general citations. He has 5 vehicle registrations and 1 license. Nothing out of the ordinary. There's just a couple speeding tickets, and he has regular vehicles.
Okay.
That's Brian A.
Brian A.
That is Brian J. Hunt, mister.
No, it is
Negative.
No, it is not.
Why are they talking?
Order. I demand order in the court.
And I demand an objection.
Okay, go ahead and state your objection.
All right, Your Honor. You can ask Mr. Brian Mena. I called the man. I mean, not called man. I asked the man for his name. He gave me his name. I searched up his name, and his name never came up. So now automatically it came up out of nowhere, and I searched it. I searched it many times. I saw Brian A. Hunt, not Brian J. Hunt or Brian J. Hunt.
Which was initially stated in the beginning of the court.
First name Brian.
Turn shit back on, Jack.
All right. Sustained. Mr. Chief Deputy, in your experience, based on what they've said, they were saying that they thought it was Brian J. Hunt. Is it possible that they misentered the name into the system when they were doing the search?
Yeah, I've done it before.
Okay. There shouldn't be any more objections. You're not trying to convince me. You're trying to convince the jury. I believe we've gone over everything. He has his ID on him. We were able to find it in the system. And he does have priors, which means that name existed before the case started. He has tickets. He has registrations. So there's not really any argument as to whether this name is valid or not. This is a valid ID that was surrendered to us. Do you have any other objections?
Yeah, I do have an objection.
Go ahead.
Is there any way I can check the system up there with this officer?
We just did. You want to go want to go into my chamber and look at my computer?
If that's possible.
I mean, if you're relying on the candor of this court, then why wouldn't you rely on our honesty in this case?
Because it's Brian A. Hunt, and I'm getting word that all of a sudden it's Brian J. Hunt.
Chamber,
yes,
yeah,
when it was looked at many times, and it was Brian A. Hunt. So now automatically it's Brian J. Hunt. So I want to know who the hell is tampering with the system now, because now this is just this is very absurd now. Very, very absurd that now it's automatic. It's Brian J. Hunt, even though I searched it. I searched it before I got here to the courthouse. I searched it many times.
And I have the evidence right here in my briefcase. I'd like to bring it up.
Cut it.
All right, I will go.
Yeah. Everybody, stop for just a second, please. I just want silence in the court, please. All right, what's going on?
No, I'm just saying these people are going back and forth.
Silence in the court.
They're going back and forth.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, as far as the RP is concerned, there's no argument here. His name's in the system.
Yeah.
He's coming back with it. So, as far as I can tell here, as for the evidence and for whether or not his name came back in the system, I don't think there can be any argument here. We have the name. It came up. Our bailiffs are part of your department, and this court it's the government representation in this proceeding. So we have to go by what we have here. No, I will not allow you into my chamber to look at my computer. You can do that on your own time. You have access to police resources. But as for the purposes of this case, we're going to go ahead and say that the name is valid. It is coming back. It has a history, so we know that it's valid. Okay?
There you go.
Okay, Your Honor. Okay, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I believe Mr. Cody was done. You guys were done. I think we can dismiss the witness. So, Mr. Bailiff, if you'd like to do that, you can do that.
Ryan, you can follow me back to your seat.
Okay,
Kindly be seated.
The plaintiff wanted to call up a testimony from a gunsmith. He's going to be allowed to stand up and come forward, make his testimony after being sworn in.
Oh,
the plaintiffs are going to be allowed to ask him questions, and then the defendants are going to be allowed to cross-examine him. Okay? So if we could have your witness come forward, Mr. Cody.
Brandon, do you want the gunsmith to look over the weapon?
I'd like to call the gunsmith.
Yeah, that's fine.
User left your channel.
Gunsmith is a buddy in CHP of mine named Jersey Bride.
What do I do? Do I go?
Oh. That's okay.
All right, yeah.
Mr. Bride.
I don't think we're going to be talking to you much as the CHP representative anyway. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what you guys want me to?
Yeah, go.
All right, Mr. Bride, step forward to the witness
Bride,
stand.
step up.
And I believe we did get the weapon from the locker. If our bailiff would like to bring that out, I believe he's.
If we're most for you, yep.
Of course.
All right. I, your name, swear to tell the truth.
Jersey Bride, swear to tell the truth.
Swear to tell nothing but the truth.
Nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
Jack, you're gonna have to turn chat back on so that way you can examine it.
Your Honor, I would like to ask the questions if that's okay.
Yeah, that's a good question that Chris just said in my chat. Why does Jersey have a sheriff weapon?
Where?
He just said that in my stream chat.
No, he doesn't. I have the
All
weapon.
right, I'm gonna start off with addressing the jury.
Brian, we need the chat back
This
on.
man is a certified
Yeah, I don't know
gunsmith.
the thing.
Okay, Jersey, can you just for the court record state your name, please? And
My name is Jersey Bride.
you do work with firearms, correct?
Yes, sir, I do.
In any instance, is a semi-automatic weapon ever fired full auto, butt stock and all?
Never.
Is a butt stock possible for this weapon that was seen?
It is not possible to go full auto.
Okay. Not even if he were to have a butt stock and fire that weapon from his hip.
I guess I'll turn the chat back on.
Just for court record, state this.
Say that one more time for me.
It's even with if he had a butt stock on the weapon at the present time, there's no way he used the bump stock to fire this weapon at rate of fire that he did.
What do you think? No.
Okay. So what explains the full auto weapon then?
It possibly could have been tampered with, but standard law enforcement AR-15s are not fitted to fire automatic.
So would it be this officer's responsibility for the weapon firing full auto?
Yes,
Since
it would.
His weapon, and you should know the weapon.
Yes, it would.
You can ask yourselves that, jury. This man did not know his weapon, is what he's claiming.
Boys, view
If
server
that
one
tells you
general.
anything, I think the sheriff should look into how they run things. If
Yeah,
their
I did.
deputies don't know their own weapon, I rest.
Jake needs to learn to sit down. Jesus.
Check general vMenu.
Yep.
May I step up?
Yep. That's
Might
what I
have
just
a
said.
procedural issue.
Do we want to give the weapon to the mechanic to look at?
Your Honor?
I think we're gonna. Well, one moment. I think we're gonna go ahead and assume that he has already.
Yeah, well, we'll just
Because
go
they
with
did
that.
their examination, right?
Yeah,
you can
I
if you
just did one for the sheriff department.
Okay. All right. Yep. You guys can go ahead and cross-examine the witness.
Now, you brought your Mr. Gunsmith here. If you want, I know all court cases are recorded. You can go back. I never once said that the reason for the fully automatic fire was the trigger being stuck. I said the trigger was stuck. I have no clue. I don't know anything about weapons, Your Honor. I said the trigger got stuck, and maybe that may have been a reason for a fully automatic fire, but I never stated that. I never stated that it was the reason as to why fully automatic fired. Now, maybe the sheriff's department should be double checking their weapons as to and be, just have the knowledge that some of their weapons may have been tampered with and leading to a fully automatic fire.
Jeez.
Hey, my honor, can I object to that?
Yeah. Go ahead. What's the objection?
So it's the officer's duty every day to double check their weapon to make sure it's in full operation, working order.
What,
Okay.
are you gonna shoot the weapon?
I think
Are you
that's
gonna
a
go to
valid. I think it's valid for the jury to be aware of that too. So I'm going to sustain the objection.
Another objection?
Yes.
Are you gonna go ahead and shoot the weapon?
Are we going to shoot the weapon here?
I'm just saying.
I do have
Is my defendant gonna grab the weapon and just go shoot it?
Your Honor, I do have the
How's he
weapon
supposed to know
empty
that
and
it's
it is
tampered
able
with?
to fire.
That sounds like a felony.
We have the weapon here. I mean, we could test it. It's not beyond the realm of possibility, but if that's what you're asking, we can do that. But,
Oh Lord.
As for whether or not you should be inspecting it at, I don't even know why I'm addressing this claim. You can go ahead and have that marked to the jury as well. You know, whether it's expected that they should shoot the weapon every single time. But
No.
I think it's reasonable to say that there should be an inspection. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Inspections
Are you
done.
Yeah. Are you done questioning the witness?
I am, Your Honor.
Yo, he's about to go
Okay.
8 banana crazy in this bullshit, though.
Give me 1 moment to speak to my bailiff here in private, and then we're going to continue, okay? They sent a screenshot. I'm talking to the bailiff. They sent a screenshot in general that shows the same charges and registrations that you said, but on Brian A. Hunt.
I was on Brian J. Hunt.
And they were the same?
Yep.
Let me search him up in the CAD.
Yeah,
Brian
there's-
Hunt, middle J.
If there's a bug going on here, then we need to know that that's happening.
Let me search it up.
Yeah, there's only one Hunt that comes up.
Brian J.
Yeah.
On the
No.
database.
When you search up, when you search up Brian Hunt and then middle initial J, there's only one, but he doesn't have a license or anything.
Okay, is there any way to check in the back end when that was created?
The
See if there's
addresses
no
are
ID?
the same. Zip code's the same. Everything's the same
excuse me,
between
officer?
A Hunt and J Hunt. So
Look at what I sent right now in this chat.
This is
Officer with the hat.
Hello.
Yeah.
Do they
Brandon.
have,
Can I have a
There,
another copy,
it's
please?
same matching information.
Yeah, what?
For both
Can I-
J
ma'am,
Hunt
I
and
have
A
another
Hunt.
copy, please?
too?
Yeah. No. It's
No, this
so
one doesn't
for
have
A Hunt.
anything.
Yeah, A Hunt has the same exact
Okay, go. I cannot hear you.
information for his person.
May I have another coffee, please?
So,
Yep.
do you want me to
Thanks.
just say we have it in the system and it's not really up for argument?
It's the same person. So
Okay.
yeah, anything that's A Hunt is also J Hunt.
Are you sure?
It's the same. Are we sure about
Yeah.
that?
Because this
Same-
one,
same
no,
date of
'cause
birth.
Brian J. Hunt. When you search up that name specifically, he has no records, nothing.
I know, but Brian
Hello?
Brian Hunt
What's
A
up, my man?
date of birth 1999/04/25.
There you
age
go.
20,
Well,
Thanks,
you
my
Have a
man.
good day.
also known as Alex.
You're just
You're a great
assume
bailiff.
if there's nothing under his name, then he has nothing.
Indeed.
But I'm looking at them both side by side.
Yeah,
Also
they
known
both
as
do the same
Alex,
thing.
same address, same height, same weight, same color, same blonde, married, same phone number, same emergency contact, everything.
Okay, I'll
Everything
break
is the
character and
exact same.
explain this, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, come on out. Okay, I'm breaking character for this. I've gone ahead and examined the screenshots. With the exec staff, I went through and looked through everything. It looks like the two names are the same in the system. So it's J and it's A, but they have the same information.
Mm-hmm.
So if he gave you the name Brian J. Hunt and you found Brian A. Hunt and that's what you went by, then it's the same person. We could just go ahead and say that you found the
Did it
wrong
magically
person.
change?
We can just
No,
chalk
it
it up as
didn't.
a clerical error. is
Yeah,
what it
I
would
mean,
technically be.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same person in the system. Both of those names exist, is what I'm saying, and they have always existed. So
What? No,
So-
bro.
No, hang on.
No.
hang on. Let me specify it. So, upon searching Brian Hunt in our database system, it comes up with Brian A. Hunt, but it also comes up with the records. It comes up for records for Brian A. Hunt, but the name Brian J. Hunt comes up. But the
Exactly.
information for Brian J. and Brian A. are the exact same information.
Because you
Because it
changed
was
it.
tampered with.
I was for
no,
okay.
there's
if
two
we're out of
separate
character,
records.
no, there's one record. I changed it to J because the actual court case went to Jake versus USA, so I was forced to change it to keep it within RP.
What?
You should have told us that.
Yeah,
No.
that should have been specified before.
Yep.
Nah,
Yeah.
that's just bullshit, bro. This whole RP
You
is
would,
basically ruined.
you
bro.
had no name
This is
before
out
the
of
court.
character though.
Yeah, you had no name before the court, so there's no way you would
You
have.
did have a name before the court.
I never said Brian Hunt until we got into this courtroom.
I asked you for your name when you came into the.
No,
sheriff's
I did
station.
Actually,
I
he
never
did
gave a
not.
name.
Holy
Oh,
He
shit.
never. He
never
never
gave
said
a
a
name.
name.
It was
Yes, he
all
did,
I
bro.
was
Yes,
there
he-
when it happened, and he never
Alright,
said a
yeah,
name.
whatever, bro. You
Nice.
guys are just power gaming, dude.
This
What is
is-
bullshit, dude?
Here we go.
Just drop it. It's calm down.
Oh, oh, you know who it is? It's
Johnny Sins.
Oh, there you
He's
go.
banned.
61.
He's banned. He's banned. Go back to sitting down.
Everyone revive.
61,
Ignore it.
alright, yeah,
He's
you're
been
on, alright.
banned.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
I'm gonna just say this real quick. I didn't save my outfit, so I'm just gonna be wearing something completely different.
So what do you want to do about this?
Yeah, bro. Can I just leave, dude? Like, I don't like.
Let's
this.
get back in character.
It's gonna be up to
Yeah,
Jack and Brian. Is this fail RP? Like, what do you want to do?
All right, Jerry has a verdict already.
One sec.
Jesus, that was
Man.
quick.
Might as well continue it.
Yeah, just continue it. If Pop Smoke wants to be a bitch and leave, then he can be a bitch and leave.
Okay, the executive staff have discussed it, and we're just going to continue the case as it is. I understand that there were issues with the RP. We can definitely talk to Jake afterwards about that. But the executive staff has decided to just continue. Okay.
Pop Smoke, if you have an issue with this, and if you do want to leave because an accidental name miss up, even though you didn't have the name before this court case, if you do choose to leave, that is all up to you. But
No,
then
it's all
again,
good, it's
you
all
are
good,
not
man.
going to be here to defend yourself.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. It's all good.
Okay, so we've called all the witnesses, we presented all the evidence, and we presented all the arguments. Do you guys have any other things that you want to bring forward before we go to closing arguments?
No, Your Honor.
Hey, Your Honor, can I bring up the medical records to you?
That's going to be afterwards to determine how much.
I thought he didn't have them.
Objection, Your Honor. He didn't. He said he didn't have them.
I thought he didn't have them, and at first
Order.
it was
Order in the
250,000.
court.
Now he has them out. He has them out of nowhere.
Order in the court.
Your Honor, if I may speak.
Go ahead.
At the beginning of the thing, you are offered to go ahead and submit any evidence, even though he did not go ahead and submit the medical things, because anything related to medical is all fallen underneath how much the payout will be if it goes in his favor, and he chose to go ahead and hold that back because it was not introduced or anything, and nothing along the lines with the medical payment was introduced, and anything regarding the payouts will be discussed at the end of the court case based off of how the jury rules.
That is absolutely correct. The objection is sustained. We can go ahead and discuss how much will be compensated, but I don't think that the medical expenses are going to come into this because you did state that you didn't have the bills available.
And he did state at the beginning.
Okay,
Your
all
Honor,
right,
that-
all right.
Okay, you heard
Attorney
me.
Adrian, do you have any questions or comments on that, Attorney Cody?
I mean, I'm still boggled by the 250,000 to 210,000 in 2 minutes, Your Honor.
Is there any that can be discussed at the end?
Okay.
Attorney Cody, do you have any comments for him?
Clearly is Nicholas.
Well, at the beginning, when you asked me if I wanted to submit any evidence, I said no because I had my evidence back here, and we were going to wait until the end to give it to you.
All right. So when you're doing a court case, you have to submit your evidence at the beginning. That's why I asked you that question. We will be talking about compensation if it goes to that stage of the trial. We don't talk about compensation until the facts have been proven. So that's going to be after the jury makes their decision if it's made in your favor. Okay? All right. Is there any other comments or questions from my parties here?
Negative.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and let the jury go back and deliberate. I understand that somebody said that they already had a verdict, but I need you guys to go back and discuss it anyway, even if it just takes a minute, okay? So, court is in recess. You guys can get a drink or whatever, and we'll be back in 5 minutes, okay?
All rise for the Honorable Brendan Stark.
That means
Okay.
stand up.
You may be seated. Court's back in session. We're going to go ahead and ask the jury foreman what their verdict was. I believe the jury has come to a unanimous decision as to the facts of this case. So they're going to go over every single fact and what their decision is. Go ahead, foreman.
Yes, Your Honor. So after going through evidence and everything else of the case, the jury has decided to align themselves with the plaintiff and find the defendants guilty. And we also feel that because it was a supervisor of CHP, that the expenses should be split between the CHP and Sheriff's Department, both.
Okay, as to the question of qualified immunity, do you guys have a fact-finding issue on whether Pop Smoke was
Judge,
liable?
the defendant, not the defendant, Pop Smoke, he passed out. Can we get some medical attention?
No.
Yeah. Can we go ahead and get him some medical attention, please?
That's it, bro.
What them firefighters at?
What the fuck?
Yeah, no.
Pop,
yeah,
we
no.
say Pop
yeah,
Smoke
no.
is
Really
Banner's
pulling this
ass.
shit right now?
Yeah.
Jack, hit him with it.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Jack, hit him with it. Jack,
Oh,
hit
is
him
Pop
with it.
Smoke dead?
I just spent 2.5 hours.
I think he's
on
dead.
this.
He's about to be.
Jack, hit him with it.
How many
Oh, we were gonna say that.
He's dead.
He's gone until the 4th. I think. Let me
Well,
check.
we
Let me check when his LOE
also
ends.
going to find
Give me a
that
second.
we don't believe
LOE ends the 5th, so better to the
we also
5th.
work on belief that the
I
weapon's
hope so.
going to malfunction.
Hours.
1 second, Jerry. Hold on.
2 weeks. Hold up.
How many hours?
You should probably help.
How much?
Aren't you CPR certified, officer?
want me to help?
He's got no pull.
336.
Yeah.
Stand.
All right, we're just going to
Oh, he's
proceed
gone.
as if the defendant is still here. Juror Foreman, I want you to start from after you said that you believe that both departments are liable, please.
We also find that we, after looking at evidence and looking at the firearm in question, we don't believe that could have malfunctioned because, as the plaintiff's lawyer stated, you would need different components and everything else. And so we've come to the fact of also Pop Smoke being guilty with it.
Okay, and so you typically in cases like this where, all right, that's fine. Thank you for your service, jurors. You may leave. You may go to the stands if you'd like, but we are done with your services. I appreciate all of your help, guys.
To the vanilla
Okay.
unicorn. Going to the vanilla
I
unicorn.
didn't ban him.
Hey, just so you know, your Hummer's parked in the parking lot.
Okay, I gotta ask Jack. and
Whoever's in the
Brian,
white sedan, you left your lights on.
how much am I allowed to award in damages here? Because I have broad, as a judge, I have broad, and obviously we're
That's
giving
up
him the
to-
money
that's
for
up to
real,
you.
So.
Yeah,
I
however
mean,
much
all right,
you
I'm gonna give him
choose.
$15 million.
Lord,
no.
realistically.
This is what I'm saying. You guys.
Holy fuck! I'm stressed as fuck.
How much
Max,
were they
100K?
asking for?
How much?
How much were they asking?
They're asking
150K.
for
They're asking for 750K. I don't think we should award the 750K.
Award him 500.
500. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Typically, in cases where qualified immunity is determined to be null, but
They're
the
already gonna
departments
do it.
are
well,
also
whatever.
liable for damages, the officer in question would be required to pay a percentage of the ruling. Usually, it's 5%, and the other 95% would come from the department or departments in question. So, we're going to be doing a ruling on damages here. For the plaintiff, as to the medical expenses, I cannot admit that the medical paperwork, unfortunately, but we will be able to award punitive damages for the mistraining and for the misconduct of the officer of $500,000 plus attorney's fees. We'll just ignore that part. So we're going to be awarding $500,000, 5%
What
of
about
which
my
will come.
wife?
Unfortunately, like I said, you didn't bring this forward during the case. This wasn't part of your complaint. You didn't complain about that. So $500,000 in punitive damages, 5% of which will be paid by the defendant officer, which comes out to, I believe, $25,000, if I'm not mistaken. The other 95% will be paid by the individual departments.
That's not bad of a price.
That can be worked out between them. The two departments are in close communication, but they will be joint and severally liable, which means that both departments and the defendant officer are on the hook until that $500,000 is paid. Do you guys have any questions or comments for me?
I do not.
No. Okay, understood. Ruling in the amount of 500,000 punitive damages for the civil case, and this court is adjourned.